The transport shuttle docked with the massive council station with barely a whisper. Ambassador Jin-Woo Park gathered his simple black briefcase and stepped into the airlock. His gray suit was plain. His tie was straight. His face showed no emotion as the door opened to reveal the grandest political chamber in the known galaxy. Jin-Woo walked slowly down the long corridor. His shoes made soft sounds on the polished crystal floor. Around him, the walls displayed images of 1,000 worlds. Each one represented a species that belonged to the Galactic Council. Earth was not among them. Not yet. 2 guards stood at the chamber entrance. They were tall creatures with blue skin and 4 arms. They looked down at Jin-Woo with barely hidden disgust. One of them scanned his credentials with a handheld device. "Human," the guard said. The word sounded like an insult. "You may enter." Jin-Woo nodded politely. "Thank you." The doors opened. The council chamber stretched before him like a small stadium. 12 elevated platforms rose in a circle around a single spot in the center. That spot was where Jin-Woo would stand. That spot was where he would speak. That spot was designed to make the speaker feel small. Jin-Woo walked to the center without hurry. He placed his briefcase on the small table provided. He looked up at the council members who stared down at him. Some looked curious. Most looked bored. A few looked actively hostile. The council leader spoke first. She was an insectoid being named Chithrax. Her voice came through translators that made it sound musical. "Ambassador Park of Earth, you have requested this audience. State your purpose." Jin-Woo bowed slightly. "Thank you, Council Leader. I come with a simple request. Earth asks for protected trade routes through the Zerion sector. This area connects our system to 3 major trade hubs. Without safe passage, our merchants face constant attacks from pirates." A loud laugh boomed from one of the platforms. Jin-Woo turned to see the source. It was Vraxus, the delegate from the Vraxian Empire. He was a massive reptilian creature with dark green scales and teeth like daggers. His species was famous across the galaxy as warriors. "Protected routes," Vraxus said, still laughing. "And what will the mighty humans do to protect these routes? Send your pathetic fleet of mining ships?" Several other council members chuckled. Jin-Woo noticed their reactions carefully. He kept his face calm. "Earth has sufficient defensive capabilities," Jin-Woo said quietly. "We ask only for council recognition of our right to safe trade. This recognition would discourage pirate attacks." Another council member spoke. This one was a floating jellyfish-like being that glowed with soft purple light. "We have reviewed Earth's military records. You have 12 combat vessels. The Vraxian Empire alone has 12,000. Why should we grant protection to such a weak species?" Jin-Woo looked directly at the jellyfish being. "Because protection is the purpose of this council. Your charter states that all peaceful species deserve safe trade." "Peaceful?" Vraxus leaned forward on his platform. "You humans fought wars on your own planet for thousands of years. You nearly destroyed yourselves with atomic weapons. And now you come here begging for safety? We learned from our mistakes," Jin-Woo said. His voice remained steady. "That is why we seek peaceful solutions now." A bird-like delegate with golden feathers spoke next. "Perhaps the human does not understand. This council protects those who prove their strength. Your species has proven nothing except how to barely survive your own stupidity." Jin-Woo felt the small security drones following his every movement. They floated near the ceiling, their cameras pointed at him. He had noticed them the moment he entered. The council was watching for any sign of aggression, any sign of weakness, any sign of anything they could use against Earth. "I understand perfectly," Jin-Woo said. "I am asking for fairness under your own laws." Chithrax, the council leader, raised one of her many legs. The chamber fell silent. "We have heard your request, Ambassador Park. The council will now vote." One by one, the delegates activated their voting crystals. Red lights appeared on 11 platforms. Only Chithrax showed a yellow light, which meant abstaining. Not a single vote in favor. "The Council has spoken," Chithrax announced. "Earth's request is denied. You are too new to galactic politics, too weak to warrant our protection. Return when your species has something of value to offer beyond requests for help." Jinwoo stood quietly for a moment. He looked at each council member in turn. His eyes moved slowly from platform to platform. Some of them looked away. Most held his gaze with contempt. "I see," Jinwoo finally said. He closed his briefcase with a soft click. "Thank you for your time, Council Leader. I will report your decision to Earth." He turned toward the exit. His movements were smooth and unhurried. He showed no anger, no disappointment, no fear. He simply walked. Vraxus stood up on his platform. "That is it? No argument? No pleading? I expected more fight from a species that claims to have learned from war." Jinwoo stopped. He turned back slightly. "I came here for peace, Delegate Vraxus, not for a fight." "Ha!" Vraxus climbed down from his platform. His massive form moved with surprising speed. "This is why humans will never matter in the galaxy. You have forgotten how to fight. You have become soft." Jinwoo started walking again. He was 10 steps from the door. "Guards!" Vraxus shouted. "Stop the human. I think he needs to learn some respect before he leaves." 4 Vraxian soldiers stepped from the shadows near the exit. They were smaller than Vraxus, but still huge compared to Jinwoo. Each one carried a shock baton. They moved to block his path. Jinwoo stopped walking. He looked at the 4 guards. Then he looked back at Vraxus. Then he looked up at Chithrax. "Council Leader," Jinwoo said calmly, "is this an official action of the Council?" Chithrax said nothing. She simply watched. The other council members leaned forward on their platforms. They wanted to see what would happen. Jinwoo set down his briefcase carefully. He straightened his tie. He rolled his shoulders once, loosening them. "Very well," he said quietly. The first guard stepped forward and swung his shock baton at Jinwoo's head. The shock baton cut through the air toward Jinwoo's head. The guard was fast. The weapon moved in a blur. But Jinwoo moved faster. He tilted his head 6 inches to the left. The baton passed through empty space where his skull had been a fraction of a second before. Jinwoo's hand shot up and caught the guard's wrist. He twisted. The guard's arm bent at an angle that made several council members wince. The shock baton clattered to the floor. Jinwoo pulled the guard forward and down. The massive Vraxian soldier crashed face first into the crystal floor. He did not get up. The other 3 guards attacked at once. They had trained together for years. They moved as a unit. But Jinwoo moved like water between stones. The second guard thrust his baton at Jinwoo's chest. Jinwoo sidestepped and grabbed the weapon with both hands. He used the guard's own momentum to flip the massive creature over his hip. The guard slammed into the third guard. Both went down in a tangle of limbs and armor. The 4th guard was smarter. He backed up and reached for his plasma pistol. Jinwoo saw this. He picked up the first guard's shock baton from the floor. In one smooth motion, he threw it like a spear. The weapon spun through the air and struck the 4th guard's hand. The plasma pistol flew away. The guard howled in pain. Jinwoo crossed the distance between them in 3 long strides. He grabbed the guard's armor and used it as leverage to throw him into the wall. The guard hit hard and slid down, unconscious. The 2nd and 3rd guards were getting back up. Jinwoo did not wait. He moved between them like a dancer. His elbow struck one in the throat. His foot swept the legs out from under the other. Both guards fell. Neither got up again. The entire fight lasted 11 seconds. Jinwoo stood in the center of the council chamber. He was not breathing hard. His suit was not even wrinkled. 4 massive Vraxian soldiers lay unconscious around him. He had not drawn a weapon. He had not killed anyone. He had simply defended himself. The council chamber was completely silent. No one moved. No one spoke. They stared at Jinwoo like they were seeing him for the first time. "I came here for peace," Jinwoo said quietly. His voice carried in the silence. "I still want peace." Vraxis stood frozen on his platform. His mouth hung open. His eyes were wide with shock. Then shock turned to rage. "You dare!" Vraxis roared. He jumped from his platform. For such a large creature, he moved with terrible speed. His hand went to his belt and drew a plasma blade. The weapon hummed to life with a sound like angry wasps. Blue energy crackled along its edge. "You attack my guards. You insult the Vraxian Empire. I will cut you apart myself." Vraxis charged. He raised his plasma blade high. He was twice Jinwoo's size. He had killed hundreds of beings in combat. He expected the human to run or beg or die. Jinwoo did none of these things. He stood perfectly still. He waited until Vraxis was 3 steps away. Then he moved. Jinwoo stepped to the side with minimal effort. Vraxis's blade cut through empty air. The massive reptilian stumbled forward off balance. Jinwoo reached to his wrist and pressed a small button on his watch. The main display screen in the council chamber suddenly activated. It showed Jinwoo's diplomatic credentials, but now it showed much more. New information scrolled across the screen. New titles, new records, new truth. Vraxis turned around, breathing hard. He stared at the screen. His plasma blade lowered slowly. The other council members stared too. One by one, they read the information. One by one, their faces changed from shock to understanding to fear. The screen showed Jinwoo's full title, not just ambassador, not just diplomat. The words glowed in bright letters. Ambassador Jinwoo Park Fleet Admiral, retired Earth Special Operations Command Service Record, classified, level 10. Below that, the screen showed a list. The list was long. It detailed 40 years of military service, 40 years of operations that most beings would call impossible. Commander of the Mars Rebellion Suppression Force. The rebellion had threatened to destroy Earth's largest colony. Jinwoo ended it in 6 hours with surgical precision. 0 civilian casualties. Leader of the Titan pirate raid. The pirates had terrorized the outer solar system for a decade. Jinwoo captured their entire leadership in one night. Not a single hostage was harmed. Chief Instructor of Human Special Forces. For 20 years, Jinwoo trained every elite operative in Earth's military. Every technique, every tactic, every method for turning a human into a living weapon. The screen showed more. Battle after battle, operation after operation, each one successful, each one deadly, each one proving that humans, when pushed, could fight like demons. Chithrax, the council leader, spoke first. Her musical voice now sounded uncertain. "You are a warrior. You have always been a warrior." Jinwoo looked up at her. His face remained calm. "I was a warrior. Now I am a diplomat. Earth sent me here because I understand both peace and war. I choose peace. But I can defend myself if needed." The bird-like delegate with golden feathers spoke next. His voice shook slightly. "Your credentials said nothing about military service. You lied to us." "I did not lie," Jinwoo said. "I showed you only what was required for a diplomatic meeting. You never asked about my background. You assumed I was weak because I chose peaceful words over threats." Vraxis still held his plasma blade. His hand trembled with rage and something else. Something that might have been fear. "Why did you not draw a weapon? Why did you not fight with your full strength?" Jinwoo looked directly at Vraxis. "Because I did not need to. Your guards are alive. You are alive. No one has died here today. That is what separates a warrior from a soldier. A warrior fights to win. A soldier fights to protect. I am a soldier." "You could have killed us all," the jellyfish delegate said softly. "Yes," Jinwoo agreed. "But I came here to talk, to build bridges, to show that Earth wants to be part of this community. Killing you would have defeated that purpose." A new sound interrupted the conversation. A loud alarm began to blare throughout the station. Red lights flashed on every panel. The council members looked around in confusion. A communications officer rushed into the chamber. He was a small green creature with large eyes. He looked terrified. "Council leader!" he shouted. "We have 3 Vraxian warships approaching the station. They are powering weapons. They demand we surrender the human to them for execution." All eyes turned to Jin Woo. He stood quietly, his face showing no emotion. He reached down and picked up his briefcase. "It seems," Jin Woo said calmly, "that we have another problem to solve." He walked toward the exit. The council members watched him go. None of them tried to stop him. None of them knew what to do. They had attacked a diplomat. That diplomat had proven to be something else entirely. And now 3 warships were coming. Jin Woo stopped at the door and turned back one last time. "If those warships attack this station," he said quietly, "innocent beings will die. I cannot allow that." "What can you possibly do?" Vraxis demanded. "You are one being. They have 3 warships." Jin Woo looked at Vraxis. For the first time, he smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "Delegate Vraxis," Jin Woo said, "did you read my entire service record?" He walked out of the chamber before anyone could answer. Jin Woo walked through the corridors of the council station with purpose. Other beings pressed themselves against the walls as he passed. Word of what happened in the council chamber was already spreading. The security drones still followed him, but now they kept their distance. He reached the station's main command center in 3 minutes. The doors were sealed. Jin Woo pressed the communication button. "This is Ambassador Park. I need to speak with Station Commander Velix immediately." There was a long pause. Then the doors opened. Inside, the command center was chaos. Dozens of beings worked at control stations. Screens showed the 3 approaching Vraxian warships. They were massive vessels, each one capable of destroying a small moon. Station Commander Velix stood in the center of it all. He was a tall being with gray skin and 3 eyes. All 3 eyes focused on Jin Woo as he entered. Velix looked nervous. "Ambassador Park," Velix said. His voice was strained. "The Vraxian ships are demanding we turn you over to them. They say you attacked their delegate. They say you humiliated their warriors. They want revenge." Jin Woo walked to the main tactical display. He studied the positions of the 3 warships. They were forming an attack pattern around the station. Classic siege formation. "Commander Velix," Jin Woo said calmly, "I need you to give me temporary tactical control of this station's defensive systems." Velix's 3 eyes went wide. "What? I cannot possibly—" "Those warships will fire on this station in approximately 6 minutes," Jin Woo interrupted. "They will aim for the habitat sections first. Thousands of innocent beings will die, unless someone stops them." "But you are just a diplomat," Velix protested. "Even if you were a soldier, what can one being do against 3 warships?" Jin Woo turned to face Velix directly. "Commander, did you read my updated credentials?" Velix hesitated. I saw some of it. But surely, I spent 40 years learning how to fight wars," Jin Woo said. His voice remained quiet but carried absolute certainty. "I commanded fleets. I planned operations. I turned impossible situations into victories. Give me control, and I will save this station. Refuse, and many beings will die." Velix looked at the screens showing the approaching warships. He looked at his crew, who stared at him with frightened faces. He looked back at Jin Woo, who stood perfectly calm in the middle of the chaos. "You are asking me to trust a human," Velix said slowly, "a species we know almost nothing about." "Yes," Jin Woo agreed, "but you have no other choice. Your defensive systems cannot stop 3 warships. Your distress calls cannot reach help in time. I am your only option." Velix's hands trembled. Then he walked to the main control console and entered a series of commands. I am giving you Level 9 access. That includes all defensive systems. If you fail, we all die." "I will not fail," Jinwoo said. He moved to the tactical station and his hands began flying across the controls. His movements were smooth and practiced. He had done this 1,000 times before. The tactical officer at the station stared at him. "How do you know our systems? These are Council security protocols. They are secret." Jinwoo did not look up from his work. "Earth helped build this station 5 years ago. Did you think we did not study every system? Did you think we did not understand what we were creating?" The truth hit everyone in the command center at the same moment. This station, this symbol of galactic unity, had been partially designed by humans, and humans never did anything without thinking ahead. Jinwoo's fingers moved faster. Screens lit up showing defensive grids, weapon placements, and shield generators that no one knew existed. Hidden systems came online. Systems that looked like simple power conduits were actually sophisticated defense networks. "Humans built back doors into the station," Velix said, his voice shocked. "Humans built protection into the station," Jinwoo corrected. "We knew the galaxy saw us as weak. We knew some species might try to use this station against us one day, so we prepared." The main screen showed the 3 Vraxian warships powering their weapons. Their cannons began to glow with building energy. Jinwoo opened a communication channel. His voice went out to all 3 warships. "Vraxian vessels, this is Ambassador Jinwoo Park. You are targeting a neutral diplomatic station. This is a violation of Council law. Power down your weapons and withdraw." The response came immediately. A Vraxian captain appeared on screen. He was even larger than Vraxus, with scars covering his scales. "Human! You attacked our delegate! You shamed our warriors! You will die for this insult!" "Your delegate ordered his guards to attack me first," Jinwoo said calmly. "I defended myself. I did not kill anyone. There is no shame in losing to a superior fighter." The Vraxian captain roared with rage. "Superior? You are prey! We are predators! We will show you what happens to prey that bares its teeth." "I am warning you one last time," Jinwoo said. "Withdraw now. Do not force my hand." "Your hand?" The captain laughed. "What will you do, human? Bore us with more talking?" Jinwoo's face showed no emotion. "I gave you a chance. Remember that." He closed the communication and turned to Velix. "Please evacuate all beings near the outer hull to interior safe rooms. Now." Velix immediately gave the order. Throughout the station, alarms rang as thousands of beings rushed to safety. Jinwoo waited patiently until Velix confirmed everyone was secure. "All personnel in safe locations," Velix reported. "Good," Jinwoo said. He turned back to his controls. "Now watch carefully. I want you to see what humans can do when we stop being polite." The 3 Vraxian warships fired at the same moment. Massive plasma bolts raced toward the station. Each one carried enough energy to vaporize a city block. The command center crew cried out in fear. Jinwoo's hands moved. Hidden shield generators activated around the station. But these were not normal shields. They did not just absorb energy, they redirected it. The plasma bolts hit the shields and bent. Their trajectory curved around the station and shot back toward the warships. The Vraxian crews barely had time to register surprise before their own weapons struck their own shields. 2 warships rocked from the impacts. Alarms blared on their bridges. The 3rd warship, commanded by the scarred captain, managed to adjust their shields in time. But they were now off balance and confused. Jinwoo did not give them time to recover. He activated offensive systems that had been hidden throughout the station. What looked like communication arrays were actually precision targeting systems. What looked like cooling vents were actually magnetic accelerator cannons. "Fire Solution Alpha," Jinwoo said calmly. The station's hidden weapons activated. Magnetic bolts shot out at incredible speed. They struck not the warships themselves, but their weapon systems. Each shot was perfectly calculated. Each shot hit exactly where Jinwoo aimed. The first warship lost all forward cannons. The second warship lost its main engine control. The third warship, the captain's ship, lost its targeting computer. All three warships were now crippled. They could not fire. They could not maneuver properly. They could barely keep their shields running. Jinwoo opened communications again. Vraxian vessels, you have two choices. Surrender now and your crews will be placed in safe emergency stasis, or continue fighting and risk losing life support when my next shots strike your environmental systems. The scarred captain appeared on screen again. His face showed shock and fear now instead of anger. How? How is this possible? You are one being. I am one being who prepared, Jinwoo said. I am one being who understands that strength is not just about size or weapons. It is about planning, intelligence, discipline. These are things humans learned through centuries of fighting ourselves. We became very good at war. Too good. That is why we now choose peace. But we attacked you, the captain said weakly. Yes, Jinwoo agreed. And now you understand why that was a mistake. Surrender now. Your crews will be safe. This can end without death. The three Vraxian warships powered down their weapons. One by one, they activated their distress beacons, signaling surrender. The entire battle had lasted 8 minutes. The command center remained silent for a long moment. Everyone stared at the screens showing 3 disabled Vraxian warships floating helplessly in space. No one could believe what they had just witnessed. Jinwoo worked calmly at the tactical station. His fingers moved across the controls with the same steady precision he had shown throughout the entire encounter. Deploying recovery drones now. Estimated time to secure all 3 crews in emergency stasis. 40 minutes. Emergency stasis? Velix asked. His voice was barely a whisper. You are saving them? Of course, Jinwoo said. He looked up from his work, surprised at the question. They surrendered. They are no longer a threat. There is no reason for them to die or suffer. But they tried to kill you, one of the junior officers protested. They tried to destroy this entire station. Jinwoo turned to face the young officer. His expression was patient, like a teacher explaining something simple. Yes. And now they have learned an important lesson. Dead beings cannot learn. Dead beings cannot go home and tell their people what happened here. Dead beings cannot change their minds. He turned back to his console and continued working. Small automated drones launched from hidden bays throughout the station. They flew to the 3 warships and began the careful process of extracting the crews. Every Vraxian soldier on those ships will go home safely, Jinwoo explained as he monitored the drones. They will tell their families and friends what happened. They will say that humans could have killed them, but chose mercy instead. That message is worth more than any military victory. Station Commander Velix sat down heavily in his command chair. His 3 eyes blinked in rapid succession, a sign of deep confusion in his species. I do not understand humans. You have weapons that could destroy fleets. You have soldiers like you who can defeat entire platoons alone. But you hide it all and ask politely for trade routes? Yes, Jinwoo said simply. He did not look away from his work as he spoke. Humans learned something important about power. We learned it the hard way, through terrible wars that nearly ended our species. We learned that having power and using power are 2 different choices. But why not use your power? Velix asked. Why not take what you want? Most species would. Jinwoo paused his work. He turned to face Velix fully. When he spoke, his voice carried a weight that made everyone in the command center listen carefully. Because we remember what it was like to be weak. We remember when we fought each other over resources and land and beliefs. We remember the children who died in our cities when bombs fell. We remember the forests that burned, and the oceans that boiled, and the sky that turned black with ash. We did all of that to ourselves. He gestured to the screens showing the captured Vraxian warships. We could conquer this galaxy if we wanted, but conquest is easy. Any species with weapons can conquer. Building something together, creating peace, that is much harder. That is worth more. A new voice interrupted the conversation. Pretty words from a warrior. Everyone turned to see Vraxis entering the command center. The massive reptilian delegate walked slowly, his head lowered slightly. Behind him came the other council members. They had left their chamber to see what happened. Jinwoo straightened and nodded to Vraxis. Delegate Vraxis, I apologize for injuring your guards. I used only the minimum force necessary to defend myself. Vraxis stared at Jinwoo for a long moment. His expression was difficult to read. Finally, he spoke. You humiliated me. You defeated my guards in seconds. You destroyed 3 of my empire's warships in minutes. And now you apologize? Yes, Jinwoo said, because I did not want any of that to happen. I came here to talk. Everything else was forced upon me. Vraxis let out a long breath. It sounded almost like a laugh, but there was no humor in it. You could have killed me. When I charged you with my plasma blade, you could have taken it and cut me down. I could have, Jinwoo agreed. But what would that prove? That I am stronger than you? I already proved that by disarming your guards. Killing you would only create more problems, more anger, more desire for revenge. The cycle would never end. The bird-like delegate with golden feathers stepped forward. Her name was Syrinx. She had been one of the most vocal critics of Earth during the council meeting. Now her voice was thoughtful rather than mocking. Your species is strange, Syrinx said. We mock you for being weak, so you prove your strength. Then you use that strength to protect your enemies. This makes no sense to us. Jinwoo smiled slightly. It was a tired smile. It makes no sense to humans either at first. We had to learn it slowly. We had to make many mistakes. We had to lose many people we loved before we understood. He walked away from the tactical station and picked up his briefcase from where he had set it down. Let me tell you a story. 300 years ago, humans nearly destroyed Earth. We had weapons that could end all life on our planet. We came very close to using them. Some were used. Millions died. The council members listened silently. Even Vraxis, who had been so quick to anger before, stood still and attentive. We survived, Jinwoo continued. Barely. And in the aftermath, when we stood in the ruins of our cities, we made a choice. We decided that we never wanted to be that destructive again. We decided that having the power to destroy something did not mean we should use it. So you hid your weapons, Chithrax, the council leader said. You pretended to be weak. We did not pretend, Jinwoo corrected gently. We simply chose not to threaten. There is a difference between being weak and choosing not to hurt others. Velix spoke up from his command chair. But you did hurt others. You disabled 3 warships. I defended, Jinwoo said firmly. Defense is not the same as aggression. Those warships attacked first. They threatened thousands of innocent beings on this station. I stopped them using the minimum force necessary. Their crews are all alive and unharmed. The jellyfish delegate floated forward, its purple glow pulsing slowly. We made a mistake. We judged your species by appearances. We thought your small fleet meant you were insignificant. Many species make that mistake, Jinwoo said. Humans learn to make our weapons look peaceful. We learn to hide our claws until we need them. It is better this way. It prevents unnecessary conflicts. But it is dishonest, Vraxis growled. Warriors should show their strength proudly. Jinwoo looked at Vraxis with understanding rather than judgment. Your species has a different history than mine. You became strong by conquering others. You built your empire through military might. That shaped how you think about power. Humans became strong by almost destroying ourselves. That shaped how we think about power. Neither way is wrong. They are just different." He paused, then added quietly, "But I will tell you this, Delegate Vraxis. The strongest warrior is not the one who wins every fight. The strongest warrior is the one who knows when not to fight." Vraxis was quiet for a moment. Then he did something unexpected. He lowered himself to one knee and bowed his head to Jinwoo. In Vraxian culture, this was the ultimate sign of respect to a superior warrior. "I was wrong about humans," Vraxis said. "I was wrong about you. You are not weak. You are not soft. You are something we Vraxians do not understand. You are warriors who choose peace." Jinwoo stepped forward and placed a hand on Vraxis's shoulder. "Stand up, delegate. You do not need to bow to me. I am just a diplomat doing my job." Vraxis rose slowly. He looked down at Jinwoo with new eyes. "What happens now? My empire sent 3 warships to attack a council station. This cannot be ignored." "No," Chithrax agreed. "It cannot. But perhaps—" She looked at Jinwoo. "Perhaps Ambassador Park has thoughts on how to resolve this situation?" Jinwoo considered for a moment. Then he nodded. "I have a proposal. Let us return to the council chamber. I believe we have more to discuss." The council chamber looked different now. The same 12 platforms rose around the same central spot. But everything felt changed. The council members who had mocked Jinwoo earlier now watched him with cautious respect. Some showed fear, others showed curiosity, all showed attention. Jinwoo stood in the center again. His briefcase rested on the table. His suit was still neat despite everything that had happened. He looked exactly as he had when he first arrived, calm and professional. Chithrax, the council leader, spoke first. Her musical voice was more careful now. "Ambassador Park, the council recognizes that we made errors in judgment. We also recognize that you had every right to respond more harshly to the attacks against you. Yet you showed restraint. This speaks well of your character and your species." "Thank you, council leader," Jinwoo said with a small bow. "However," Chithrax continued, "we must address what has happened. 3 Vraxian warships attacked this neutral station. That is a serious crime under council law. How do you propose we handle this situation?" Jinwoo was quiet for a moment. He looked around at all the council members. When he spoke, his voice was thoughtful. "Council leader, I propose we consider why the attack happened. The Vraxian Empire sent those warships because their delegate was humiliated. Their warriors were defeated. In their culture, this demands a response. They acted according to their values." Vraxis shifted uncomfortably on his platform. "You defend them? After they tried to destroy this station?" "I understand them," Jinwoo corrected. "Understanding is not the same as defending. The Vraxian crews acted out of loyalty and honor. These are good qualities, even when they lead to bad decisions." Syrinx, the bird-like delegate, tilted her head in curiosity. "What are you suggesting, Ambassador?" "I suggest we turn this into a learning opportunity," Jinwoo said. "The Vraxian crews will go home with a story. They will tell everyone what happened. They will say that humans could have killed them but chose to save them instead. That story will do more for peace than any punishment." "You want no punishment at all?" the jellyfish delegate asked, surprised. "I did not say that," Jinwoo replied. "The Vraxian Empire must acknowledge what happened. They must apologize to the council and promise not to attack neutral stations again. And perhaps—" He paused and looked directly at Vraxis. "Perhaps Delegate Vraxis could help Earth with our original request." The chamber fell silent. Vraxis stared at Jinwoo like he had grown a second head. "You still want your trade routes? After everything?" "Yes," Jinwoo said simply. "That is why I came here. My mission has not changed. Earth needs safe passage for our merchants. We came to ask politely. We were attacked. We defended ourselves, but we still need those trade routes. Chithrax made a sound that might have been laughter. You are a fascinating being, Ambassador Park. You defeat warriors, disable warships, and then ask again for what you wanted in the first place? I am persistent, Jinwoo agreed. Humans are very persistent. It is one of our defining traits. We do not give up easily. Vraxis stood up on his platform. He looked tired but thoughtful. Ambassador Park, you could have demanded anything after what happened today. You could have asked for territory, resources, or military concessions, but you still only want safe trade routes? That is all Earth needs right now, Jinwoo said. We are not interested in conquest or domination. We just want to grow and learn and be part of this galactic community. Safe trade helps us do that. Vraxis was quiet for a long moment. The entire council waited for his response. Finally, he spoke. The Vraxian Empire will support Earth's petition for protected trade routes. We will also assign 3 warships to help patrol those routes and protect them from pirates. Consider it our apology for today's events. Several council members gasped in surprise. Vraxian protection was valuable. It was worth far more than simple council recognition. That is very generous, Jinwoo said sincerely. Earth accepts your offer with gratitude. Other council members began to speak. One by one, they changed their votes from before. The delegate who had called humans weak now praised their strength. The one who mocked their small fleet now acknowledged their clever planning. The one who laughed at their requests now offered support. Chithrax watched this with her compound eyes, taking in every detail. When the last delegate finished speaking, she raised one of her many legs. The council will vote again on Earth's petition for protected trade routes through the Xerion sector. All in favor? 12 platforms lit up green. Every single council member voted yes. Even those who had abstained before now showed their support. The petition is accepted unanimously, Chithrax announced. Earth is granted full protection for its trade routes. Furthermore, the Council recognizes Earth as a species worthy of respect and consideration for future diplomatic matters. Jinwoo bowed deeply. On behalf of Earth and all humans, I thank the Council. Chithrax descended from her platform. She approached Jinwoo, moving on her many legs with surprising grace. The other council members watched as she stopped in front of the human ambassador. Ambassador Park, Chithrax said quietly, may I ask you a question? A personal question? Of course, council leader. Why did you really come here alone? Earth must have known the council might not welcome you. They must have known it could be dangerous. Why send only one diplomat? Jinwoo smiled slightly. It was a knowing smile. Earth sent me alone because one was enough. My government wanted to send a message. That message was, we do not need armies to be strong. We do not need threats to be respected. One prepared human, acting with intelligence and restraint, can accomplish more than a fleet of warships. And if you had failed? Chithrax pressed. If the Council had captured you, or if those warships had killed you? Then Earth would have sent another diplomat, Jinwoo said calmly, and another after that, and another. We would have kept trying peacefully until we succeeded, because that is what humans do. We persist. We adapt. We learn. We do not give up. He paused, then added softly, but we also prepare. We hoped for peace but planned for conflict. That is the human way. Chithrax's compound eyes seemed to study Jinwoo with new depth. Your species is young. You have only just reached the stars, yet you think like beings who have survived for millennia. How? Because we nearly did not survive, Jinwoo answered honestly. We almost destroyed ourselves before we ever left our planet. That experience taught us hard lessons. We learned to value peace while understanding war. We learned to hope for the best while preparing for the worst. We learned that survival requires both strength and wisdom. Vraxis had descended from his platform as well. He approached Jinwoo and Chithrax. "I have another question, Ambassador. What would you have done if those warships had not surrendered? If they had continued to fight?" Jinwoo looked at Vraxis steadily. "I would have disabled their life support systems. I would have forced their crews into emergency evacuation pods. I would have captured all 3 ships without killing anyone. It would have been difficult, but possible." "You could really have done that?" Vraxis asked, his voice showing doubt. "Yes," Jinwoo said with absolute certainty. "I planned for that scenario before I ever came to this station. I studied every system on those warship classes. I knew exactly where to strike and how to minimize casualties. That is what Fleet Admiral Jinwoo Park would have done." He straightened his tie and picked up his briefcase. "But I am not Fleet Admiral Park anymore. I am Ambassador Park now. I would rather talk than fight. I would rather build than destroy. That is why I am here." Syrinx flew down from her platform, her golden feathers catching the light. "What will you tell your government about today?" "I will tell them the truth," Jinwoo said. "I will say that the council judged us too quickly, but learned to see us clearly. I will say that misunderstandings led to conflict, but wisdom led to peace. I will say that Earth has new friends and allies in the galaxy." He looked around at all the council members who had gathered around him. "I will also tell them that this galaxy is full of honorable beings who value strength and courage. Different species have different ways of showing these values, but they all want similar things: security, prosperity, a future for their children. Humans want these things too. That makes us allies, not enemies." Chithrax touched Jinwoo's shoulder gently with one of her legs. It was a gesture of respect in her culture. "You have taught us something important today, Ambassador Park. You have taught us that humans should not be underestimated, but you have also taught us that being strong does not mean being cruel." "That is what my people learned," Jinwoo agreed. "And now the galaxy knows it too." He walked toward the exit. This time no one blocked his path. The council members parted to let him through. As he reached the door, Vraxis called out to him. "Ambassador Park, will you return to the council?" Jinwoo turned back and smiled. "Yes, Delegate Vraxis. Earth will send me back many times. We have much to discuss with the council, many treaties to negotiate, many opportunities to cooperate. This is just the beginning." "Good," Vraxis said. He placed his fist over his heart in a Vraxian salute. "Then I look forward to learning more about humans. Perhaps we can teach each other." "I would like that," Jinwoo said. He returned the salute, placing his own fist over his heart. He walked out of the council chamber and down the long corridor to his shuttle. Behind him, the council members stood in thoughtful silence. They had learned an important lesson today. Humans were not weak. They were not simple. They were not to be dismissed or ignored. As Jinwoo's shuttle departed from the council station, he sent a message back to Earth. It was short and simple. "Mission successful. Trade routes secured. Relations with council established. No casualties on any side. Returning home. Park out." On Earth. His commander received the message and smiled. The plan had worked perfectly. Earth had entered galactic politics not with threats or demands, but with one patient, prepared human who understood both the value of peace and the necessity of strength. The galaxy had tried to test humanity. They had pushed and mocked and attacked, and humanity had responded exactly as planned, with restraint, with intelligence, and with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your own capabilities. Jinwoo looked out the shuttle window at the stars rushing past. Somewhere out there, the Vraxian crews were being safely extracted from their disabled ships. They would go home with stories. Those stories would spread, and the galaxy would learn what Earth already knew. Humans were not warriors anymore. But they remembered how to be warriors when necessary, and that made all the difference.